This is a story of redemption, of a little girl who quit the ballet because she could not do the splits. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of 30 in 30s. When I was around 7 or 8 years old, I was enrolled in a ballet course. I was one of the few girls that could not do the splits. My ballet coach used to step on my butt to try to help me get lower while I was in frog position. And I was so sick and tired of her stepping all over me, literally. So I told my mom that I was gonna quit, and I just gave up on the splits after that. 20 years later, I'm here to redeem myself for the little girl in me to finally learn to do the splits. Let's get started. As always, we have to establish a starting point. Oh god, this is so embarrassing.
너무 추워지.
If you think I'm faking this, you're making fun of me.
So much my butt is lifted off the ground.
With my left foot forward, I'm about 12 inches and a half off the ground. With my right foot forward, I'm about 15 inches off the ground.
양말 다 뺏기지.
어쩌면.
But 30 days is a long time, so let's go on to week 1. Day 1 began with stretching out muscles that haven't been stretched in a really long time. I was clearly lacking strength in all parts of my body. I mean, I couldn't even hold some of these stretches for longer than a second. I wasn't sure if I was able to complete a full stretch by the end of 30 days. These are the videos I watched in order to get the splits. The first one is by Train Like a Ballerina, because she's a ballerina, and also because she holds the stretches for a longer period of time. The next 2 videos are by Boho Beautiful Yoga, and I just really like her calming presence. Also, how to hold each posture, which I think is very helpful so that we don't hurt ourselves. Because of my poor posture and the inability to stretch my legs out, my upper body keeps leaning forward. So I bought something that would help me achieve a more perpendicular back. I really didn't want to spend $20 on this, but I'm glad I did because it made a world of a difference. Having that support under my arms allowed me to stand up a little straighter and keep the pressure off of my legs, therefore allowing myself to ease into the stretch as opposed to putting unnecessary pressure on my legs. I think the hardest part about week 1 was getting over delayed onset muscle soreness. I didn't even know that you could get that sore from just stretching. When you're using muscles that you haven't used in a really long time, then I guess that's possible. By week 2, the delayed onset muscle soreness was completely gone. I think my body just got used to being stretched every day, which is a good thing. My main focus going into the second week was to straighten my knees. My hamstrings were as tight as a newly Botoxed forehead. Love it for my face, not so much for my legs. So I modified the stretches to focus primarily on loosening that area. Week 2 was really essential in understanding my own body. I had developed this intuition about my body that I didn't have before. With this deeper understanding of my body and my posture, I realized that my hips were very out of alignment. I mean, this could be attributed to my posture. I have terrible posture, especially with my hips, because I love to cross my legs, and my favorite is crossing this right leg over. So my right hip protrudes a little bit forward than my left. I also love sleeping on my left side, so my right hip is constantly falling over to my left. And then I prefer to wear my bag on my right shoulder, so my right shoulder is always leaning forwards like this. Through doing these stretches, I was made more aware of my posture and allowed me to become more in tune with my body. I really appreciate Boho Beautiful Yoga's video for this reason, because she walks you through the stretch, reminding you to maintain correct form, such as pulling the hips of your front leg back while pushing your hips forward with the back leg, and keeping your hips square is very, very important in doing the splits so that you don't get injured. I felt really confident going into day 15. My legs felt elongated, and it had this fluidity that I never had before. And the measurements agree with me.
This is right leg front.
Almost 6.
와! 진짜 많이 갔다.
I shouldn't have a 5 button. It's like here.
On my left side, I was just a little over 5 inches. On my right, I was just under 6 inches. That's a significant difference. It felt like I reached a new limit, but what I want is to be limitless. The limit does not exist. Going into the 3rd week, I mean, it looks so good already. My front leg is completely straight. My knees aren't bent anymore. There aren't any weird angles. My posture improved so much. You could actually see my jawlines now because I'm not straining my neck as much. And my shoulders are back, heart forward. My back is straight. I just felt really confident that I was gonna be able to do this. So I put all my focus on my hamstrings. I pushed myself to do longer holds and also continue lengthening the front legs, pointing, flexing, and pointing the foot so I could get a good stretch on my hamstrings. I also spent a little money and got rubber bands to further stretch out my legs. But I think this is where it went wrong. I should have never bought those bands. You'll see why. Going into our final week, my splits are looking very, very promising. I mean, I had never been this low before. Whole new low for me, and that's in a good way. With this new band, I felt like I could really get a deep stretch on my hamstrings to allow me to get closer to the ground. And if you look here, my calves are touching the ground. My calves have never touched the ground like that before. So I continued to push myself, and then I definitely strained a muscle on my right side. I mean, I was touching the ground with my calves a minute ago, but I couldn't anymore. So I just had to stop for the day. Nothing like this happened before I got the bands. After I got the bands, my muscle is starting to strain. So I looked up muscle strain and how to treat it. A lot of tips came up. Rest, I did that. Drink water, sure. Keep your legs raised, I did that. And it still didn't treat it as fast as I wanted it to. Pain is mostly from the hamstring down to my calves, on this side only. This side is fine, but I think I overdid it or did it in like a weird posture. I'm gonna have to just massage it and try to release the tension here. Feels a little better. It's not better. I think I'm gonna have to take more days off than I thought. But it doesn't seem like it's that serious. I feel like I'm only doing it when I'm in a certain position. I feel like I could fix it if I get my posture right. I don't know, we'll see. I rested yesterday, rested today. Maybe I'll just take another day off and see where it takes me. After a few days of rest, I tried again, and with my right leg, I just couldn't go down anymore. It was just too painful. My left leg was fine, but it was mainly on my right hamstring all the way down to the calves. I tried to stretch it out, and I tried to push myself to kind of, I guess, get over it or stretch out the muscle so that it feels better again, but it wasn't working. With only 3 days to go, I tried it again. I kept pushing myself even though I should have rested. This isn't how I wanted to end the challenge, and this is probably not what you expected either. But I think it's important to listen to our bodies when it's telling us something, and it's really telling me something. Like, it's desperate for me to stop. And that leads us to today. Today would have been the 30th day. My plan was to end it in a beautiful, long, elongated splits posture, but I can't do it. I did some editing yesterday, and I could visually see how desperately I pushed myself to complete the challenge to get down like a few inches off the ground. Oh, I was so close. I see myself pushing my legs to its limits, and I'm like, don't do that. You're just hurting yourself more. I shouldn't have done that. But being so close and not being able to finish is such an unsatisfying feeling. And the only word I could think of is 아까워. 아까워. What is 아까워 in Korean? It is Korean. Such a waste. But the impact is not there. It's such a shame that I came so close, but I can't cross that finish line. I'm still in a little bit of pain. I tried stretching yesterday, but my legs are telling me like, you can stop. If my body is telling me to stop, then I gotta stop. I think I'm gonna have to give myself a few more days off, maybe a week before I get back into it. The ending to this challenge is very unsatisfying for me. I'm pretty sure for you too, because you probably expected some kind of a closure, you know, a definite finish, but that's not happening for this episode, unfortunately. But this is not the end. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the splits. We'll call it like episode 2.5 or something. I just need a little more time than 30 days. I'm sorry if this wasn't the ending you wanted. It's definitely not the ending I wanted, but it's the ending my body is giving us, and we're gonna have to take it. So that's it for episode 2. Thank you for sticking with me. Let me know what your thoughts are. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions for me to try for 30 days. Doesn't have to be 30 days. It could be minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. I do have a few coming up, so stick around for that. And that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.